Hi everyone. So this is the continuation video. Kindly watch the first video part 1, then continue watching this video. So open the main fabric, take the lining, place the lining on the main fabric on top of right side. So I am placing the lining on the right side of the main fabric. From the bottom, leave minimum half inch or 1 inch and we are going to place the bow fabric what we created, right? What we made. From the bottom I am leaving 1 inch and I am going to place the bow fabric in between main fabric and lining fabric like this. Same way you have to mark 1 inch on the other side also and place the bow fabric in between the lining and the main fabric. So now start stitching from one side. So when you reach that 1 inch point exactly, place the bow fabric like this in between and continue the stitch on top of that. So don't stretch the fabric, align the fabric and stitch very loosely, don't stretch it. So place the bow fabric like this, exactly towards that 1 inch point like this, lock it and finish it. Now give notches, so cut what we have made. So this notch will help the fabric to turn smoothly. Okay, so now you have to give the top stitch. When you give the top stitch, see here, the fabric, extra fabric will be towards the lining fabric and here you have to give the top stitch on the lining fabric. So when you give the top stitch on the lining fabric, the stitch will not be visible on the right side and the finishing of the dress also will look very neat. Now continue the stitch for joining the lining and the main fabric all over the garment like this. So stitch with the 1/4 distance to join the lining with the main fabric. So don't stretch, just make it straight and stitch. Lock it and finish it. Now you can see, tie and see the bow fabric. This is how the back finishing will look. So next we'll start with the front part. So for the front part, first I'm going to attach the zip to the main fabric. I'll show you the different technique of finishing of zip here. So I'm just cutting and opening the main fabric which I have cut in the fold. So here I'm going to give invisible zip in the front. So open the zip first. Okay, this is how the zip will be. The teether, you can see the runner kind of thing, that is called teether, that will be in the middle. So the teether you have to, the stopper, that is called stopper on top. The stopper should get aligned to the neckline on top and teether should be opposite direction like this and pin it. Okay, the middle teether I am just turning to the opposite side like this and I am pinning it. So likewise the other side also you have to turn the teether to the opposite side First you have to align the stopper to the neckline. And pin it. So now first, instead of giving the stitch very close to the zip, first you have to give the temporary stitch. That will help you to give the neat finishing. So I'm just going to give the temporary stitch to join the zip to the fabric. After this we can give the stitch very close to the teether. So likewise give the stitch on the other side also. So this stitch will help you to secure the zip without moving when you are going to stitch very close to the zip. Now I am going to change the footer to the zipper foot. This is invisible zipper foot. So this will make the work very simple. Just place the teether in between the gap and start stitching. The stitch will be very close to the zip. Lock it and finish it. Likewise stitch it on the other side also. So now you can zip and see it, how neat it has came. So you can see the finishing of the invisible zip here. So trim off the extra zip in the bottom. So now you have to secure the zip without coming out of the dress. So just make sure where you want the zip to stop. I want something like above ½ inch from the bottom. So I am just giving a stitch, 2-3 stitches, a running stitch on top of the zip. So exactly there the zip will stop when you open. Okay, so now we'll see how to attach the lining to the zip, I mean the front part, and we are going to make the zip as invisible zip. So the raw edges will get covered. So one side of the lining I have completed. You can see how it has turned out. So I'll show you how to complete the same way on the other side. So take the lining, place it on the right side of the main fabric like this. Place it over the zip. So start the stitch from the neckline, stitch 1/4, that is the seam allowance we left. And stitch it over the zip on the teether. So I am just turning the fabric for my comfort to stitch. So stitch maximum till where you can stitch. Stop if your footer is hitting. Now cut the extra zip on the top and give the cuts so it will turn smoothly. Now turn the lining to the wrong side. So after turning, you can see the finishing. This is how it looks. Now you have to stitch all over the front part wherever the lining and main fabric has to be joined. So when you want to finish the dot with the lining fabric, always give the middle stitch like this. Give the stitch in the middle leg of the dot. So this will help you to fold the dot in a neat way and the finishing will look neat. Now fold the dot using that middle stitch. And stitch with the shape of the dot. Make it sharp in the finishing, lock it and finish it. So when you lock, you should not give multiple stitches, only one stitch at back and you have to finish it. So front should be like this. So likewise stitch it on the other side also. So after completing the dot, so if you want you can give the top stitch on the neckline or you can just iron and leave it, but I'm going to give a top stitch here. So I'm giving the top stitch in 1/4 distance. So end it in one end and continue from the other end. So before giving the top stitch, you have to pull out the fabric. I mean the zip is there, no? So maximum you have to pull out and make the finishing neat and you have to give the top stitch. Okay, the front yoke part is done. So I'm just trimming off the extra fabrics. So now I'm going to finish the back neckline with the bias strip. So I'm not going to explain this in deep because already I have posted in my YouTube channel how to finish the U neckline with the bias strip. Please refer that. I'll just make it little faster here. Lock it and finish it. Now take front and back, place it right on right and join the shoulder. So give double stitch to join the shoulder. So after joining the shoulder, next we'll see the sleeves. So for cutting the sleeves, for lining we have cut the front arm, but for the main fabric we have not yet cut the front arm. I'll show you a small trick because I got a few messages that how to cut the front arm, because when you cut also it is not coming in the proper alignment, right and left side like that. So you can see in the lining here, just open the lining and align. So you can see here right side and left side of the sleeve. So likewise you have to get it on the main fabric also. Okay, so lining it doesn't matter if it is not coming also, both the sides will be same, we can just align it. But when it comes to the main fabric, right, so if it is mismatched, when sometimes when you cut it wrongly, the right and left will not get aligned. So how to cut is you have to lay the fabric right on right. Okay, so laying the fabric right on right before cutting the sleeve for the front arm, you have to lay like this, right on right, cut the front arm. Only then you will get the right and left side properly. So after cutting, you just align and see. So your right side and left side. So this is how you have to cut to get a perfect sleeve. Okay, so next we'll make a pleats to connect to the sleeve open. So the width of the strip is 1.5 inch. I want the sleeve pleats to be 1 inch. So give a small folding like this and stitch in the one side. Other side you are going to give the pleats and you will attach to the sleeve open. Lock it and finish it. Now start giving the pleats on the right side. We are making the pleats on the right side. So the width of the pleats I am taking here is 1/2 inch. So I am not measuring, approximately it's 1/2 inch. Lock it in the end and finish it. Now take your sleeve pattern, main fabric. So place the pleats, both the raw edges of sleeve open connected. Like this you have to place, right on right. So the pleats right side should be placed on the right side of the sleeve open of main fabric, and stitch it on the same place where you have given stitch to make the pleats. Lock it and finish it. Trim off the extra pleats. Now take the lining fabric which matches with the sleeve main fabric. Give the top stitch to the sleeve open. Lock it and finish it. Now turn and give the top stitch on the lining fabric. So the extra fabric should be faced towards the lining and give the top stitch. After giving the top stitch, turn the lining to the wrong side and continue stitching the lining with main fabric in the leftover places. So likewise finish the other sleeve also. Lock it and finish it in the end. Now we'll see how to join the sleeves with the bodies. Open the bodies like this. Take a sleeve pattern. So place it right on right. So when you place right on right, you can see the front arm notch we have given, right, that got aligned with the front side. Just check like this. So it matches perfectly. So when you're checking with the bodies, the armhole, if you're getting anything extra, it's okay, fine, you can trim off finally. 1/2 inch excess is fine only. So hold the sleeve pattern like this. You can see the notch matches perfectly in the middle. And move the sleeve armhole according to your body armhole. So lock it and finish it. So you'll have the finishing like this in the right side. So that excess you can trim off. So likewise stitch the other side of the sleeve also. Now we are going to give pleats near the waist. So like we have done in the sleeve, we have to do it. So place the pleats right on right like this and stitch it. Lock it and finish it. Trim off the extra pleats. Turn the pleats like this and give the top stitch. So before that I am giving the pleats to the back pattern also, back side also. Lock it. So leave little pleats and cut it so that we can cover up the raw edges. So like we can fold it like this. So other side also leave little pleats. So the arm side will go inside, no need to cover up there, but the bow side you have to leave little extra so that we have to fold and stitch there to cover up the raw edges. Now turn the pleats and give the top stitch. Lock it and finish it. So likewise give the top stitch for the back pleat also. So fold it like this to cover up the raw edge and give the top stitch. So inside I have given the overlock stitch. So joining, shoulder joining and sleeve joining. So everywhere you have to give the overlock stitch. So lock it and finish it. So yes, we came to the end part of this yoke part stitching, which is side joining. So align the pleat joining, armpit joining like this, it exactly matches. So I am stitching from the waist 1 inch. 1 inch is the seam allowance we left. So I am stitching from the waist. So your arm part joining can be on towards facing towards the sleeve or towards down. So make sure that both the sides are facing up or down like that. Lock it in the end and finish it. You can overlock. So likewise stitch it on the other side also. Align the pleats, armpit and stitch. And sorry, here I forgot to switch off the light. So align the armpit and pleats in the sleeve. Lock it and finish it. So now you have to overlock the sides. So yes, our yoke part sewing is completed. Now let's start with the skirt part. For skirt part, first I am going to make the pleats. Okay, so here I have taken the calculation of waist round into 2. So there is not going to be more pleats, only little pleats it's going to have. So I'm not going to give any calculation for a pleats here. So randomly I'm just going to keep a pleat here, but there is a proper calculation for the pleat and fabric to the waist, how much fabric has to be taken, how much width of the pleat has to be taken, which is explained in deep in our online course. Here I'm just giving a rough idea of pleated skirt. So approximately I am taking 1 inch width of the sleeve pleat here. So keep checking after keeping some 20 or 25 pleats. Check the waist round whether you got, if your waist round is 20 inch, you have to get 20 here. Plus half inch extra you can add for ease, because if it is exactly 20, sometimes when the kids wear, they'll feel tight near the waist. 20 means 20.5 it can be. More than that it should not be there. So I'm checking here. So I have to keep extra pleats. Lock it and finish it. Now measure the pleat. So I'm getting here 18.5, but I need a 21.5 actually. So I'm removing one pleat on either side. So which means two pleats I am removing it. So anyways, it is going to go inside, right? Only in the middle part we need the pleats. So after this, I'm going to measure it again. So I'm getting here 22, which is fine. Now we are going to give pleats in the main fabric. So how to give pleats in the main fabric is we have a small trick here. So pin it in the beginning of this lining like this. Because lining we are having exact waist round measurement, right? So we can pin it and make the extra pleats, extra fabric as pleats. So the other side also you can just pin it with the lining like this. So whatever is extra in the middle, that we can convert it as a pleats. So before stitching, it is better to make the pleats and pin it, then you can stitch, so that you will get a even pleats. So I'm planning to make a very big pleat for the main fabric. So after making the pleats, before stitching, you can iron the pleats neatly, then you can stitch. So that the pleat finishing will be very neat and professional. So after this, it is better to iron it, then you can start stitching. So in one go, you can stitch the pleats and join the lining with the main fabric. So if you are using portable machine, better to remove the pin when it is going to hit the footer. So remove each pin when it is going very near to the footer. This is industrial machine, so I'm not removing the pins. Lock it and finish it in the end and remove all the pins. So next we have to fold and stitch the lining bottom. So main fabric, as I told you, I am going to leave it as it is. The border is very nice there. So lining fabric I have to fold and stitch and make it 2 inch lesser than the main fabric. So instead of cutting, I am just folding and stitching the extra fabric like this. I think around 4 inch there is extra fabric, so I am just making it as a big fold and I am stitching here. Lock it and finish it in the end. So now you can turn and see the right side. The lining will not be visible. So the main fabric I'm just going to leave it as it is. Now we are going to do the side joining for the skirt part. Before that, we'll be having small opening near the waist area, only then the kids can wear the skirt. So if you are taking exact waist measurement, it can't enter the hip part. Okay, so we have to leave near a 2-inch opening. For that 2-inch, I'm just stitching the raw edge like this, like we stitch the top hip open, right, side open, like that you have to stitch 1/4 and again 1/4 like this. So just come in the cross way and finish it like this, lock and finish it. So likewise you have to stitch it on the other side also. Lock it and finish it in the end. So now you are going to stitch the band for the hook and putty. Okay, so for that the length of the band should be waist round plus 2 inch. If your waist round is 20, you have to take the length of the band as 22 inch, and the width of the band what I have taken is 5 inch. So half inch will go on either side for attaching to the skirt part, and remaining 2 inch will be your band height. Okay, so now I'm just concealing one side, fold and stitch like this. On either side you have to fold and stitch like this. So 1/4 and again 1/4. So I'll repeat again, the length of the band should be waist round plus 2 inch. If your waist round is 22, the length of the band should be 24 inch, and the height of the band, the width of the band should be 5 inch. In 5 inch, half inch will go this side. I am stitching now, right? So you can see how I am attaching here, half inch. Again I will fold and stitch for that half inch. So the remaining 4 inch will be there. So when you fold and stitch, the height of the band will remain 2 inch. That you will come to know when I am stitching here. Lock it and finish it in the end. The excess fabric will be for the hook. Okay, now turn to the right side and fold and stitch the band. So you have to conceal the raw edge from the starting point of that band what we have given for the hook. So this height of the band you can decide whether you want 1 inch height, 2 inch height or 3 inch height. So that's upon your idea, however you want the design. If you want to look the skirt to be high waist skirt, then you can even increase the height of the band, so that will look like a high waist skirt. Lock it and finish it in the end. Now the last process of the skirt is to join the side of the skirt. So align the lining and main fabric equally and start the stitch. From the top, measure 2.5 or 2 inch. From there, start the stitch to join the side of the skirt. So after stitching the side, you have to overlock. So I am stitching 1 inch seam allowance here. So you can see the height of the lining and main fabric here. Lock it and finish it in the end. So our dress is completed. We'll see the final look of the dress. So this is the final look of the dress. You can see the fitting here and finishing of zip. So I have not done any alteration after stitching. When you take the body measurement and work on the pattern, exact body measurement, you'll get a perfect fitting of dress. Hope you all like this video and write your comments about the dress in the comment box. I would like to read all the comments, and we'll meet you in next interesting video. Bye bye.